Hello and welcome to the Maverrik podcast. I am Luke 2. Today I'm on my own in the studio and I'm just going to go through something which is something I think we all have a part of in any of our day-to-day business, no matter what you're doing, selling, no matter what business you're running, and that is touch points. Now, when it comes to touch points, those are the little glimpses of you that people will see online or through email or just walking around the building, maybe if you're in like this big office shared block. Touch points is how people remember you. So people will probably forget you in about a couple of days. I mean, with my memory, it's probably half a day if I've only seen you scrolling through LinkedIn. And what touch points are there little glimpses of you, and it's usually found online. So if I'm posting content on LinkedIn and you see it, that's a touch point. The next day, if I post again, that's another touch point. And if I reach out to you and say, hey, I've seen you like some of my content, would you like to connect? That's another touch point. Now, all of these touch points together build and build and build on a relationship with someone so we actually remember you. Now, these touch points don't have to be content. It can be maybe you drop them an email to say, hey, thanks for connecting if they've connected with you. Or if they're a business saying, I think you'd really appreciate this resource I've got going out, give it a watch or a read or implement it and see how you think about it. Those touch points build and build and build until you have that relationship with someone. Now, if you don't have touch points, like I said before, all that happens is people will forget that you exist. So without touch points, you are just another post on the feed that people will scroll past and go, okay, do you remember what that post was about? No. Do you remember the person who posted it? No, not at all. And even if you're really, really useful to a person for like a week or so, if you don't keep up those touch points, what happens is people will forget you again. So you're going to need to keep creating them. You need to create ways to get in front of people so they remember who you are. Because if you don't do that, then you are essentially just going to be forgotten. So when you're creating these touch points, is it all about content? Is it all about getting engaged with a person? Yes, it is. And you can keep doing that using very simple ways of, posting content and getting in touch with someone. It doesn't have to be that intensive. You don't need to like write down a whole dossier of information for them to use and put it out there. It can literally just be, hey, I hope you have a great weekend, or did you get a chance to see this? Or, oh, I thought this was really useful, I'm sending it over. Whatever you do to get in front of another person is a good touch point, and it's something that'll be useful. So why should you care about touch points? Maybe you can just post out a few pieces of content, get the sale, and then move on. Well, without a touch point, you can't build a bigger relationship with a client, and you can't have that relationship with someone that can, move on to, word of mouth, testimonials, social proof. You can get that from being really good with your touch points. But the most important part of it is just being around and sticking around. When it comes to the internet, it is so fleeting. Anyone could just see this, listen to this podcast. Someone's probably already turned this off because I'm talking so fast. But because I'm in front of someone and I'm posting and I'm trying to talk and engage and deliver some value, people will see that and go, oh, this is great. And then they'll go and subscribe to you or like what you're doing. A lot of this happens on YouTube as well. If you're seeing this on YouTube, hello, please like and subscribe and the rest of the good stuff. But if you went over to our channel and see that we hadn't posted it in at least 2 or 3 months, you'll go, okay, I'll watch some of the good bits, but I won't subscribe because nothing new is going to go out. So by consistently posting content, by consistently showing up, what you're doing is just telling people that you're here, you're ready to do business and work, you're ready to create content, you're ready to have a good time, and basically be there for them, whatever it is you do. If you're a security expert, you could talk about the security, part size of your business. You talk about yourself. There's so much you can give that people don't really realize. Like personally, I'm like, oh, well, what can I say? I do, marketing. I do social selling. I can talk about my own life, but I find that really boring sometimes because all I do is, sit home and research this kind of stuff. But what I bring to the table is these podcasts and my blogs and the stuff that really helps people move forward with their businesses. That's what I'm trying to deliver. And by doing that, I'm creating those touch points. By posting a blog, I'm creating a touch point. By sharing that blog, I'm creating a touch point. By creating a podcast about that blog, I'm creating a touch point. All these touch points build into someone saying, you know what, I really like what Luke's putting out there. I want to connect with them. And then I've got a relationship, I've got a lead, I've got a prospect, and I can talk to them and go, hey, how are you? What are you struggling with? What can I help with? And then you create a sale from that. Then that sale becomes a relationship. And then from there, they will say, yeah, I talked to Luke about 2 years ago. I saw him on his content, really like what he was putting out. Now I'm going to say, for you to get in touch with him and, possibly do business. And then that's how you can grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Now, you don't need to, really hone in on everyone's day and go, oh, how did your Tuesday? How was your Wednesday? How was your Thursday? How was your Friday? It doesn't have to be so quick. You don't have to keep those touch points going, but they do need to be there, long enough for someone to say, okay, I know who you are. I'm remembering who you are. Because there's nothing worse when you're entering like a call or a meeting, and someone says, oh yeah, so what was your name again? I've had it before where someone actually called me by a different person's name, but because after the job with them and I was talking and then the project finished, I was like, oh, thank you, Luke. And I was like, brilliant, awesome. Because it's nothing worse than thinking to yourself, oh, I'm just, I'm going to help this person out, and then they'll move on, and then they don't know who you are, what you've done for them, so they can't sing your praises. And it could be even worse if you did a really great job and they were like, oh, I worked with this person before, but I can't put my name on who they were. And it's just really like frustrating to be like, oh, I wish you could have remembered that, because you could have really done me some service there. Especially if you listen to like a podcast, a really, really prevalent podcast out there, and someone goes, oh, I did some really good work with someone. And you can just tell in the background in their business, they're just shouting, it was me, please say my name. And then it just completely goes. And all of that, all of that good stuff that comes with, a shouts out just completely goes. So getting your name out there is kind of a battle of just consistently showing up. So if you want to create touch points, you need to be posting content, you need to be getting in touch with your audience, you need to be keeping them engaged, and you need to, like I said before, be consistent with it. Just keep showing up. Thank you for listening to this very brief episode of the Maverrik podcast. I hope you've learned some about touch points and how to create your own. If you'd like any more information, just get in touch with me, or you can just message social at Maverrik or social media at maverrik.co.uk, and we can help you out however we want. Other than that, I just want you to share the love. Please subscribe to us and like and watch the rest of our content, which you can see either side. I always get it wrong the direction, but one side of me. And have a great day. We'll see you next time for the next Maverrik podcast.